You're listening to Heroes in the Moment.
What's up, heroes? I'm Michael.
And I'm Nathan.
And today we're reviewing the Bad Batch Season 2.
A whole season.
The whole season.
A whole season.
We're not doing it. We didn't do it episode by episode this time. We did it a whole season instead. We're reviewing them all in one.
We did make the mistake, I will say, of last time doing it episode by episode. Because, Michael, you told me, you said, Nathan, you didn't enjoy season 1. Episode to episode, sometimes there's just not too much to look forward to.
Right.
But I binged season 2 in a week. So we're recording this on Friday.
Right.
I started on Saturday, so technically 6 days.
Yes.
And I liked it 10 times better as a binge.
Oh, absolutely.
Like,
and
really.
I watched season 2 week by week, and I enjoyed the season much. I liked it, but at the same time, I do think it works better and functions better as a binge. I think Star Wars should take that as a note. I think with animated series with Disney Plus, they need to drop it at once. I just think it'd be better, or at least half and half or something like that. I do think it would be better functioned as a binge, and I think it definitely is just better for this show. And actually, I really enjoyed the Bad Batch season 2.
Yeah.
I think it honestly was better than season 1.
Yeah.
I think the first episode of season 1 is better than, stops all of them. But I think season 2 as a whole is better than season 1. It was a solid season. You can't lie.
I really do think it's good. And I definitely enjoy it a lot more. That being said, I hated season 1 with a passion. So I found myself really surprised that I liked this. And honestly, I told you earlier, but I'm just surprised that I vibed more with season 2 of Bad Batch than season 3 of Mando.
I know. That's what's mind blowing. It's really, really crazy at this point. So hopefully Mando can pick it up with season 3. But Bad Batch season 2 is done. So we're going to break it down for you guys. So this week we're doing it a little bit different because we've actually, I don't think ever have done like a full season in one podcast. So here's how it's going to work. We're going to actually do, instead of going like episode by episode, like 1, 2, 3, 4, we're going to actually rank the episodes down from 16 to 1 of our favorites. So our least favorite 16, our favorite at 1.
Yeah.
And just talk about them a little bit after we mention them and then rate them out of 10. So, or I don't know if you rated out of 5 or what.
I rated out of 5.
You rated out of 5. I rated out of 10.
But same thing.
Same thing.
5 and 10 is the same thing.
But anyway, we're going to do that. So starting with episode 16, which is my least favorite, we're going to do at number 16, I have Entombed. Entombed. Not my favorite episode. I definitely think this one, I found myself, kind of blankly staring at the TV, just bored with this episode.
No, exactly,
It was not that good. I found myself more on my phone than I was watching the show. They were sent on this mission with what's her name? Fee. They're going on this mission with Fee. I'm not a huge fan of Fee. Winona Sykes. What was it? Winona
Yeah,
Sykes
she was in Ice Age.
She was.
She
Granny.
voiced the Granny. Yeah.
She was goated in Ice Age. My favorite part.
That's
the fourth Ice Age, Continental Drift. She was goated. Oh, I love Granny. Dancing on your grave.
As soon as she started talking, I'm like, dude, I know that voice, man. That's Granny.
Absolutely. But she went, and this episode that they took him on this mission to find this like mystical thing or whatever.
Yeah.
It was not that
and
good.
It was just a robot.
I rate this episode, I would give it a 2 out of 10, to be completely honest. I did not like this episode. I wasn't a huge fan of it. I don't have much more to say because it just wasn't that great.
Yeah. Listen, man, I can get behind that because shockingly, and I'm surprised we had the same one.
Yeah.
My 16th is also Entombed. I gave it a 2 out of 5.
Yeah.
Let me just read you a couple words I wrote about it. I said dumb robot reveal. Really? You thought it was going to be a cool choice? A dumb robot. Yep. I said the plot wasn't interesting or compelling. I said Fee's introduction was really annoying. And I didn't like her as a character at first. And then also, what did the episode accomplish?
Right.
Really nothing.
Nothing, yeah.
It was just a bland filler with really nothing to catch your eye.
Yep, absolutely.
So, 16 it is, Entombed.
For both of us. All right, for number 15, I have Faster. This is the whole race. It's kind of like crime syndicate kind of thing, and Sid had a big role with this one, kidnapping Sid and all this stuff. Yeah. I have a burningly hatred of passion to Sid. I really do not like Sid at all.
Especially after
I can't stand Sid at all. And I'm glad what the show built towards and them going away from Sid later on, which made the show, I think, better. Yeah. But I just didn't like this episode. It felt rushed. And you said it gave us some character development for Tech and his abilities and showing what he does and showing his more compassionate side sometimes. Yeah. But still, the overall episode, I just thought it was stupid. The big guy's like, we're gonna get you, Sid, and all this stuff. The stereotypical race, right? And I just personally didn't enjoy it. And I think Entombed and Faster were the 2 biggest fillers, and they were just the most least compelling. I have it at 2.5 out of 10.
Okay, all right. In my 15, I have Ruins of War as a 3 out of 5. And that's, I think, the second episode.
Yes,
but I just the action the whole time was kind of mid. Yeah. I didn't feel like there was really any stakes with the episode, and then all the side characters I feel like were really just not interesting. Okay. So honestly, I really didn't care. Like you said earlier, I spent the majority of time on my phone. Yeah, but I was just glad to finally get the team back together after watching the episode. Right, so I'm giving Ruins of War 3 out of 5.
Okay. All right. Coming in number 14, I have Retrieval. Retrieval on this episode, they were stuck on this planet and they were trying to get out, and then their ship gets stolen by this kid who was super annoying kid. I did not like this kid.
No, I hated him too.
He was a horrible character. And they had to go and work with this kid again because they confronted him and they were like, "What'd you do with our ship?" And they sold it and all this stuff. And in a way, you could say that it kind of felt like a Clone Wars episode in a sense, because you're going to this planet, you're helping them out, kind of similar to what the Jedi did in certain episodes against the Separatists. I enjoyed that factor and, the buildup of that and the villain and stuff, but I didn't enjoy the episode as a whole, having them going after the ship. It just felt like a unnecessary side plot that I could have done without. The episode just was not that interesting. Yeah. And I think there was definitely more potential there that could have been done better, and the kid just was not that great. So I have it rated 4 out of 10 for Retrieval.
Okay, go off. All right. My 14th, I'm going with Spoils of War, and that's the first one. I mean, I did enjoy, to get to see Count Dooku's palace.
Right.
But honestly, not that much happened, right? They split up near the end. But it's like, what did this accomplish? They go in and they get loot, something bad happens. It felt the first episode of the show should not feel kind of like a filler, even though it has your main characters.
Yeah, I agree.
So I'm going with Spoils of War 3 out of 5.
All right, so coming in number 13 for my spot, I have Ruins of War, and I agree with everything you said. Like, it had action, but it just didn't feel compelling and interesting. Yeah. It just wasn't that, appealing to me. Sure, it was cool seeing the team together and working together in those types of senses, but at the same time, it just felt like, I didn't like it as much, when it came out same as the first episode the same day. Yeah. So when I watched it, it just was not as interesting as the first one, and I just wasn't super compelled to this storyline of Ruins of War. So I have it a 5 out of 10.
Okay. And my 13, I'm on 13, 16. 13, this might surprise you. I'm going Pabu.
Okay. Okay.
So I'm giving it a 3 out of 5.
I understand.
Yeah. And here's my reason why. This episode was... it was a good filler. The CGI was beautiful. I love the island, but it really did feel like a filler. But they had a couple of things that progressed the story forward, right? It was good to see Omega finally be a kid, find some stability in a friend. Tech's relationship with Phee. That was another storyline they kind of pushed with that one. Yeah. But obviously the tsunami comes and wipes out the island.
The lower part.
Yeah, the lower part. But honestly, not too much happens in here. At the end, you find out that they've cut off Sid. But I enjoyed this episode, but they're just better. So I'm giving it a 3 out of 5.
Okay. Coming at number 12 for me, I have Spoils of War. I enjoyed seeing, like you said, Count Dooku's palace and them going on mission to do that. And their mission was to steal some of the crates that were going out of Count Dooku's palace and all this kind of stuff. That kind of stuff was cool. Yeah. But at the same time, I agree that it just didn't feel like it should have felt, and it was not that interesting. And it felt like a filler for the first episode. So I had to give it a 5.5 out of 10. Just not that interesting. But I feel like after this one, I feel like all the episodes after that one, or now that I've had those 5 episodes that I just told about, were not that great. After this, I thought every episode after this was pretty good. So I have it there.
I agree. In my 12, I'm going Retrieval. Honestly, I probably should put this lower, but the one good thing this episode does, they do a good job building this world. But it's just a very simple and overdone plot with a greedy fat guy taking advantage of kids. Right. We've seen that in Holes. We've seen that in a couple episodes of Batman animated series that I've watched recently. It's just commonly overdone. It showed how tight the Bad Batch are, but obviously we already knew that. Right. Like I said, the kid was annoying, and honestly, I just kind of had a hard time watching this one. But I'm giving it a 3 out of 5 in my number 12.
Okay. Coming in at number 11, I have The Crossing. The Crossing is where Sid would send him on another mission to planet to kind of mine out of the resources and stuff. And this episode was good. I enjoyed this episode. It was cool, them, being in the mines and stuff, and then getting separated, Tech and Omega, and then Tech showing that, it's really cool to see Tech's personality, because you can tell he doesn't have any EQ. He's all IQ. Yeah. And he has a hard time with emotions.
Yeah.
And when Omega is trying to connect, they're finally connecting. He's, and he's opening up to her, being like, it's harder for me to be, emotional and those kind of things, which I respected. It made me love Tech as a character so much more through this episode. And then after they get stuck on the planet, but this episode, it's lower than the rest because I think the rest of the episodes were better and just more interesting to me. But I love the character development between Tech and Omega this episode, and I just thought it was really interesting. So I give this episode a 7 out of 10.
Okay, listen, man, I agree 100% with everything you just said. Because in my 11th, I also have The Crossing. I gave it 3 out of 5. Yes, it is a filler, but the best part about it was seeing how Tech is bonding with Omega, right? This kid, like you said, he's kind of closed off from his emotions.
Right.
He's not used to that kind of stuff. So just seeing him and Omega kind of bond. And then also, I thought a really cool thing was seeing Omega struggle with Echo's departure. And she's getting all this advice. I mean, because that's a common feeling for anybody, the feeling of just like grief or sadness, when you feel like left.
Right.
But seeing the other guys come around her and kind of support her and give her advice and how soldiers carry on was really cool.
Yeah.
But like you said, it was a filler, but they had some really good emotional moments. So I'm giving it 3 out of 5.
There you go. All right, coming to number 10 for me, I have Tribe. This episode was amazing because of Gunji. I love Gunji.
Goated.
Gunji is goated. Survived Order 66. Fantastic to see him again. I was actually kind of hoping he would stay with the Bad Batch. Personally, I was like, he'd be a great addition.
Take Omega's place.
I know. This was our only episode in the series with lightsabers, and it was used really well to go against some of the Bosk alien-like characters and things like that in the planet, and going back and trying to get back with his family and stuff. Did they go to Kashyyyk? No, it wasn't Kashyyyk, was it?
Yeah, it was Kashyyyk.
Was it Kashyyyk?
It was Gunji's planet.
Yeah, that's right. They went to Kashyyyk.
Yeah,
and
spiders.
It was a really fun episode. It was not really. It was a filler-esque, but not. It was entertaining. It was cool to see a Jedi finally being Gunji, who he was one of the younglings in Clone Wars, and it was just awesome to see him again. Gunji. Solid episode, 7 out of 10.
Okay, for my number 10, right? We're on number 10?
Yes.
My number 10, I am going with The Clone Conspiracy.
Really?
Yeah.
Dude.
So I'm putting it at 10.
No way.
Yeah, I am.
That's insane.
No, listen,
That's
man.
legitimately insane.
Listen, well, this is where it starts to get really good, because I really think there's 10 episodes that are like kind of neck and neck,
dude,
to be honest.
That's insane.
Well, hear me out. I gave it 3.5 out of 5, so
wow.
It's close to a 4. I love The Conspiracy. I freaking loved it. I see no Bad Batch, and that I feel like always is a little pull, right? I love Rampart. He was a great villain, and I love seeing Captain Rex, and Captain Rex easily gave it like a half a point.
Yeah,
but I feel like there's better episodes. This is episode 7, right? Clone Conspiracy.
Yes.
I feel like 8 far topped it as much as I did like episode 7, but when I had to rank it, with how good I thought it was. So I'm giving it 3.5 out of 5.
Wow, that's insane. Wow, I do not agree.
I mean, it builds up to 8,
Yeah, it does, but that's crazy. All right, coming in at number 9 for me, I have Metamorphosis. A lot more people enjoy this episode than I did. I think it's still a solid episode, and it answered a unanswered Clone Wars plot line, being the Zillo Beast return and what happened to the Zillo Beast. The clone. Are they working on cloning? They actually did successfully clone it and are working to use the Zillo Beast. I thought that was cool, and seeing some of the action trying to stop the Zillo Beast was really cool. Seeing the Empire. This was our introduction to, I believe, what was his name, Dr. Haddock.
Hemlock.
Yeah, Dr. Hemlock was our introduction to him, and introduction to the other girl. What was her name? I forget.
Emery Carr.
Emery, yeah, it was an introduction to the other Doctor girl, and that was really cool. And seeing those connections there, I enjoyed this. It's a solid episode, but I feel like I enjoyed it less than most people because everybody was hyping it up and like there's a huge reveal in it. And to me, I was thinking something a bit bigger than the Zillo Beast, but it was still cool to see. I give it a 7.5 out of 10.
Okay. And my number 9, I am going with The Solitary Clone. I'm giving it a 3.5 out of 5.
Wow.
That's
also low.
You think so?
I do.
Listen, man. Well, I graded harshly on this one. Only one episode gets a 5. But I give it 3.5 out of 5. I love seeing Crosshair and Cody together. The stealth mission was super fire. The action was great. And it was cool to kind of side with the locals' perspective, right?
Yeah.
On what's been going on.
Yeah.
But obviously, the best part about this entire episode was it was the first time we've seen a clone, a.k.a. Cody, kind of explore their dwindling faith in the Empire.
Yeah.
So you see Cody, and he's doing this mission, he's following orders, but he can't help when he sees, Crosshair just straight up kill the governor. Like, hey, like, I think this is wrong. Right. So that's the very first time you see it. Then obviously, it's a big theme throughout the show. But I have Solitary Clone at number 9.
Okay. Coming in number 8 for me, I have Pabu. It's rated a little bit high, but I really resonated really well with this episode more than I thought I would. I thought it was really cool and really unique to have them face a natural disaster like a tsunami, and then also having Fee take them to this new place that's supposed to be like this beacon of hope for them, like a new place where they can start over, and it's calm, not infiltrated by the Empire.
Yeah.
And this new opportunity for them, and we obviously see that unfortunately they can't go back until maybe they will, but maybe they won't. But
yeah.
I really thought this episode solid, like you said, Mega, being a kid, actually getting a friend, and I really liked the mayor dude. He was kind of cool, and just seeing them connect well with these people I liked, and I really enjoyed this episode thoroughly. I give it a 7.5 out of 10.
All right. In my number 8 spot, I'm going with Tipping Point. I'm giving it a 3.5 out of 5, right? It's the 14th episode. It's building up to the last 2 episodes. Right. The clone extraction plan was great. Getting to see Hauser and the boys again was really cool. Also great to see Echo back with the team.
Right.
This episode just made me hurt so much for Crosshair, man.
Right.
I mean, you see Crosshair fighting so hard, and he just can't get free. And Crosshair really is my favorite character in the show.
I agree.
I just feel like he has it's the most depth to his character.
Especially in a particular episode.
Yeah. Well, when you talk about Wrecker, there's not a ton of character development there. Right. And same with Hunter. Tech, there is a lot this season, but with Crosshair is just interesting because he has that bad side to him. But that was obviously cool. We got to see Emery Carr, I think, and seeing her pity him kind of started to bring around questions. You're like, is she good? Is she all the way bad?
Yeah.
And I love the fact that the Bad Batch were willing, to rescue him, even though he's led them into a trap before. But this was a good episode, and I'm putting it at number 8.
Okay. Coming in at number 7 for me, I have The Summit, the second to last episode of the series. It was cool seeing Grand Moff Tarkin again, coming back and meeting with the Dr. Hemlock again and discussing plans for the future and stuff. I definitely at this point am sensing that Star Wars right now is trying to make the sequels and Palpatine's Return work, and they're trying to make it work with all this cloning and conspiracy.
It's dumb that they have to take a whole season of an animated
and
show
build up,
because I will say they never should have done that in Rise of Skywalker. No. I still think it's a bad idea. Bring back Palpatine.
Right. But yeah, it's interesting to do that in The Summit. I mean, the episode was cool, and it was had some action stuff. Him infiltrating the I want to say Citadel, but the mountain where they were cloning, doing this, working on had a Crosshair in captivity. I do think this episode felt like it just wasn't as entertaining as it could have been.
I know,
like the action was just not. It didn't connect with me as much as it could. Yeah. It had Saw Gerrera. Again, I do not like Saw Gerrera. He was doing stupid again, ruined their plans, and obviously ruined something for them later, and something tragic happened. Hate Saw Gerrera so much. But, he always an issue. Like, he's an issue. Really is an issue.
We gotta take care of him.
It makes me want to watch Rogue One, just see him die.
I know, no, really.
Like, legit.
Really.
Like, oh, there he is.
I know, just looking at
there he is. That guy. But... yeah, The Summit out of 7. I'm going to give it a 7.7 out of 10.
Okay. In my number 7, Michael, I also have The Summit.
Okay.
I feel like this episode definitely could have been better, right?
Right.
It's the third to last episode. I'm giving it a 3.5. Oh, that's right. Second to last. It's second to last. Even more so. I give it a 3.5 out of 5. The infiltration plan was cool. It was unique. I like seeing it. Like you said, me and all the homies hate Saw Gerrera.
Right.
He's in there just freaking messing it up. It was cool to see Tarkin plan with other leaders and kind of, like you said, bring about that cloning plan. I just really hate that they're trying so hard to make this cloning thing work instead of just like retconning the sequels.
Yeah.
But like I said, it should have been better for the second to last episode, so I'm giving it a 3.5 out of 5.
Okay, that's solid. Coming in at number 6 for me, I have Tripping Point. This episode was cool because, we've seen, unfortunately, Crosshair getting tortured. That was unfortunate, but Echo coming back and returning. I liked the scene of him, they had like the perfect mission, the perfect plan, the perfect execution of going in there, getting them out, and dipping.
Fire.
That was awesome. That scene was awesome.
Yes.
That had it elevated up quite a bit.
Oh, yeah.
And then Echo rejoining them, the group of Pabu, telling them the plans, telling them what's going on. Crosshair's captured, all these different things, and then them initiating the plan to go after him. And this, spirals into a series of events. I thought this episode was really good, entertaining. It was cool to see. I give it an 8 out of 10.
All right. In my number 6 spot, I believe, I'm going with Tribe. And this is my first one. I'm giving it a 4 out of 5.
Yeah.
So yes, this was a filler. I also thought this was possibly the best filler of the show. Yeah. First of all, Genji's awesome.
Oh, yeah.
He's a goat. And I thought it was really cool to get to see more of Kashyyyk. And it kind of explored a different side of Kashyyyk. You know, we've seen the more civilized version, but this is just like straight jungle Kashyyyk. So that was cool to see. The spiders, the other, I don't know, animals are cool to see. The bad guy, right, the Trandoshans, I thought they were really interesting and intimidating. Yeah. And I generally felt like worried for the Wookiees in this episode. I felt like there was legitimate stakes.
Right.
Plus, dude, Wrecker imitating the Wookiee roars was hilarious. He's like, right before he does something. Anyway, I thought it was hilarious. I thought it was funny. There's not too much wrong with it. So I'm putting Tribe at a 4 out of 5.
Okay.
I really liked it, man.
Okay. Coming at number 5 for me, getting our top 5 episodes of the show of season 2, I had the Solitary Clone in number 5. I love this episode. Really, I mean, seeing Commander Cody return, welcome back, you know, and seeing him, his mind divided between what's right and what's wrong, whether I should go and follow orders like I've always been told, or whether I should abandon that. And eventually we see he abandons that, and I can't wait to see him again. And hopefully I want to see him interact with Captain Rex. But in a great episode, I love Crosshair episodes are always top tier. So seeing them and Crosshair and Commander Cody interact and going in and him end up shooting the governor and Cody hesitancy, and then the use of weapons in that episode was so cool as well. Him flicking,
dude, Crosshair takes it like 4 guys.
Oh yes,
we gotta see more of that, man.
I love those scenes. I love this episode. It was definitely, you know, after the first 2 episodes, I was like, this is kind of falling back in the same order. And then seeing this is episode 3, I was like, it brought me back into the series. So it really got me hyped. So I'm going to give this episode a 9 out of 10. I love this episode.
Okay. Listen, man, you're going to be really surprised with this one.
Okay.
Really. And on my number 5, I'm going with Faster. So just hear me out.
That's insane.
You know, hear me out. I'm giving this a 4 out of 5. And hear me out, and especially after watching the whole show. This one makes sense. Yes, this one is a filler. But before this, had we ever seen a spotlight on tech? Have we ever seen appreciation for tech in this way? Right? Seeing Tech overcome these challenges and win got me so freaking hyped up. And this was the start of building up his character throughout the show, obviously, for what we know is going to happen.
Yeah.
But this was the introduction to it. You're like, why are we like getting a focus on Tech?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Also, yes, the bad guys, you know, they're overdone. It's a common trope.
Right.
But the reminder to be wary of Sid played into the end episode as well. So this one, I really feel like ties in with one of the best with the last episode. Plus the racing was freaking cool. And I don't know, man, that's the first time with Sid, possibly in the whole show. I was just like, I just started to worry that she'd actually sell them out. So I really think as far as filler goes, dude, this was the best.
Okay.
So I really feel like with the knowledge of the host show, watching this again, it's goated.
I disagree wholeheartedly, but
4 out of 5.
I understand. I do not like that episode, but I can respect it. Okay. All right. Coming in number 4, I must say, now these 4 episodes are some of the best. Like these 4 episodes are absolutely phenomenal in every way. Okay. And coming in number 4 for me, I have The Outpost. I love this episode.
Really? Number 4?
Number 4.
Okay.
I love this episode. This episode was great. It was really, really cool to see Crosshair and then interact with this new clone they introduced that we all fell in love with in one episode. His name was what's his name? The clone.
Wait, which? Mayday.
Loved Mayday.
Mayday, shout out. He needs his own show.
I wouldn't say that, but he was fantastic in it. You know, you fell in love with this clone in one episode. You have the lieutenant dude who absolutely sucks. I hated that guy.
Yes, man.
Oh, it was such a satisfying ending.
I know. It was
it's so satisfying, but I hated that dude. He's such a he hated clones. He hated the idea of clones. It's stupid. I wanted to punch him the whole time.
Racist.
But, essentially. And, you know, them being on this planet for literally nothing, for no legitimate purpose.
Just guarding
the new stormtrooper armor.
I know.
It was so pointless, and it was so really put in perspective how the Empire views clones and how the Empire wants to use clones, because so many of them are dying for literally nothing, and then having to go through all this Mayday ends up dying for nothing. And this is actually really cool too, because this is where we see Crosshair finally come to terms with maybe the Empire's not the way to go finally. Yeah. He's and then he kills the lieutenant. Thankfully.
That was awesome.
Lord, that was amazing.
Yeah.
I cheered. I literally clapped.
I know.
And it was amazing. And I was like, okay, Crosshair. And then he gets arrested, and this leads to him getting tortured and all this kind of stuff. But at the same time, it was a great episode. Yeah. Really entertaining. 9.2 out of 10.
Okay, listen, I respect that. I love that one.
It's great.
With my number 4, I'm going Metamorphosis. Metamorphosis.
Yeah.
I'm getting a 4 out of 5, and so hear me out. I'm not a huge fan of the plot of this one. I'm really not. It doesn't advance the story in crazy ways, I don't feel like. What I will say, this episode put on some amazing horror vibes that I've never seen in
Star Wars.
Animated Star Wars.
Yeah.
Like I thought they did an amazing job.
Yeah.
It was just, I feel like they executed it perfectly. Really, I mean, I don't get scared easily, but I was like, ooh. Obviously, getting to see the Zulos was cool again.
Yeah.
Seeing how Kamino was really destroyed, so that the Empire could control cloning and do what they want with it.
Right.
And also, it was the start of trying to get Omega to Nala Se to cooperate with the Empire. But like I said, I wasn't a huge fan of the plot of this one, but man, they really delivered on the horror vibes with this one. And it was freaking spectacular. Like, there's not a lot of bad things in this episode. Yeah. It's going in at my number 4 spot with 4 out of 5.
Okay. Coming in number 3, I have Plan 99, the finale, coming in my 3rd spot. An amazing episode, a truly emotional episode. It starts off with something tragic, the death of Tech.
Yeah.
And I legitimately cried. I legitimately got emotional because of this, because of how much character development they put into Tech. And it was especially emotional thinking about like how, Fee was with him and is like, wanting him to return.
She was flirting with him.
Exactly. That was emotional, and those elements, and then him literally dying for, again, nothing pretty much because of the fact that Saw Gerrera ruined their plans, and then all
destroyed
of this other crap was
lines.
going on, and everything else was just ridiculous.
When have we ever followed orders?
I know. And he's like,
no,
and they call it Plan 99 because of 99, the clone who sacrificed himself for the greater good. And it was so emotional, him doing it for the greater good, them going on, and then them landing, and Omega's reaction made it even more sadder, when she realized, she's like, where's Tech? And Hunter had to break the news to her. It was so emotional.
That hurt, man.
So good. This episode was so good, man. It was so good. And, seeing what happened, and then one thing leads to another. Then we see Sid sells them out. So Dr. Hemlock comes in, and then they have to, Hunter and both Hunter and Wrecker get captured, and then eventually Tech, and then Echo saves them, and then Omega eventually, is captured for good. And then she interacts with the other doctor girl, who reveals that she is her, essentially, another clone.
And that's how it ends. And I was kind of disappointed by that ending.
I wasn't disappointed by the ending because it's definitely, it's building into something bigger. We're seeing something cool, and just seeing Omega being captured, finally what they've been building towards, and then what is Hunter and Wrecker and Echo gonna do to get her back, and I thought it was really good. And the episode itself, really, really, really emotional and really good. 9.5 out of 10.
Oh wow! All right, these last 2 are very close. In my 3rd, I'm going Truth and Consequences.
Oh wow! Okay.
I know you probably had that number 1. I'm giving this a 4 out of 5. The plot was freaking amazing. Seeing Palpatine and the introduction of the Stormtrooper plan, seeing how Palpatine twists the truth, against Rampart was awesome. The data extraction plan was really cool. It was good to see Echo go where he belongs. This episode, it didn't have really anything wrong with it. But I had to put number 3 because I really enjoyed the next 2 better. But man, this was awesome. I mean, just seeing Palpatine, right, Ian coming back to do it, but dude, just the introduction of how they're kicking off the Stormtrooper.
Right.
That's what we needed to bridge the gap between, New Hope and Revenge of the Sith. So it's at my number 3 spot. Okay.
Coming in number 2 for me, I have The Clone Conspiracy, which was crazy that you put it so low because I absolutely adored this episode.
Really?
When I watched this episode, dude, I was on the edge of my seat the whole time. I was so entertained. It was literally an episode of Clone Wars. You can't tell me otherwise. It was legitimately Clone Wars. Yeah. You had Rex. You had the Senator, what was her name? I forget her name.
The blue girl?
Yeah, the blue girl.
It was
Senator.
like Uchi or something like that.
Something like that. And, them interacting, talking about how, and then you had the other clones, figuring out that what their Empire's doing to them, and then them going astray and trying to get clone rights and this kind of stuff, and all these things that you see elements of suicide. I mean, you have the Stormtrooper who tried to kill both the Senator and Rex commit suicide because of him, what he was trying to do.
Went out like a hero.
It's crazy. And Rex saving the Senator and all this stuff. It was just amazing episode. So well done. I really, really, really had a good time watching this episode. It's definitely number 2. 9.5 out of 10.
All right. With my number 2, I'm going Plan 99, the finale. 4.5 out of 5. First of all, Rip Tech.
Right.
I watched it about 1 a.m. in the morning. And I started to tear up eating my ice cream. I was like, man, this just hurts. Like I said, the whole season has built up in understanding Tech, seeing his relationship with the guys and with Omega, and then seeing him sacrifice himself for the greater good. Just really hurt, man.
Right.
So it was heartbreaking. I also wrote down in my notes, quote, Sid is a hoe for selling out to the Bad Batch. So me and all my homies, we hate Sid.
We hate Sid.
I mean, that's why I like Faster, because, it hinted at it.
Yeah.
It was awesome, obviously, to see the cloning program that the Empire is working on. I still don't understand why they mic dropped it on the fact that she has a sister.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily know. Like, that doesn't build a ton of excitement going into season 3. I don't even know if they haven't renewed it yet.
Yeah.
But first of all, this episode was great. It was just heartbreaking, man. I mean, they lose Tech and then they take Omega, and it's just Wrecker, and Echo and Hunter's like, oh crap.
Yeah, I know.
Get back Crosshair and then
bring it back
her.
in.
But they got it.
Right.
But it hurts. So 4.5 out of 5. Rip Tech the homie. I love you. Plan that 9.
Fire. All right, coming in number 1 for me, you're right. Truth and Consequences. Fire episode, seeing the return of Ian McKellen. That's right, Ian McKellen, right?
Yeah,
right. Yeah. Ian
McDermott is
McDermott. I'm thinking of Magneto.
Yeah, Gandalf.
I actually just recently watched the X-Men movies. That's why I was thinking Ian McDermott, sorry, is Palpatine's return. Palpatine returned. As Poe so elegantly put it. No, he came back as Emperor Palpatine. He's incredible, seeing the ties between getting rid of the clones, stormtroopers, seeing what actually happened, answering those unanswered questions.
Yeah.
It's still stupid that they would get rid of clones because they're so much better.
I know. Honestly, I just don't see how they justify it.
I know.
All the reasons
I don't either.
dumb. I don't like used equipment.
I guess it's because they can't control them as much as they thought.
Yeah.
Maybe.
But I mean, they're just taking regular people.
Right.
Regular people are a lot more unpredictable than clones.
Well, they can't hit a shot where the flip is.
I know. They really should have kept the clones.
They easily should have.
That was the biggest thing about the season. Stop saying that.
Right. Right.
They can help you out.
But the episode was cool, again, seeing Rex back and then Echo going with Rex at the end, and then the Bad Batch working together on Coruscant was really cool to see.
Yeah.
Just a really, really good episode. Really, really made me appreciate those. Both the Clone Conspiracy and the True Consequences were very Clone Wars-esque and made me feel so wholesome. 9.5 out of 10.
All right. And my number 1, and this is my only 5 out of 5, I'm going The Outpost.
Yeah.
I feel like this episode was just, in my opinion, a cut above. And that's because we got to see the character development for Crosshair. It was amazing. And it also made you pity the clones and seeing truly what they're going through. Like you said, we see Mayday, and him and his crew have been on that desolate planet for a year with no reinforcements, getting attacked probably every day, just trying to hold out hope.
Right.
And they're guarding gear for the humans just about to come and take their jobs.
Right.
So that was heartbreaking, man. But man, just the themes that they weave throughout this episode, right? In the beginning, Mayday and Crosshair are talking, and Crosshair steps on the mine, and Mayday helps him out, but they start talking about dead weight.
Yeah.
And then Mayday's like, well, dang, remind me never to die in front of you. So you see that Crosshair early on, he's still loyal and he doesn't really care about his fellow man.
Yeah.
But obviously, Mayday saves him and they keep on going. But eventually, dude. Dude.
Yeah.
I'm not kidding. I started to cry during this episode. We see Crosshair, just... It was just one bad thing after another that the Empire did to the clones that made Crosshair finally realize, hey, these guys are a bunch of turds. He saves Mayday, pulls them all the way up, is pleading with the lieutenant to save him, and he doesn't. And seeing Crosshair killing the lieutenant was so satisfying. But man, this was so good, man.
It was really good.
There was nothing bad in this episode, but that character development, the whole thing with dead weight, leaving people behind, seeing Crosshair go out of his way to drag a guy who's going to die, obviously, through the snow just to save him, because he was finally fed up with how the troopers were being treated.
Right.
It hurt. Obviously, the action was great, but that wasn't the main focus of this episode. Yep. So the Outpost was my favorite, number 1.
That awesome. All right, so now... And you have to rate it out of 10 too, the entire season out of 10. So I actually took an average of my numbers that I did to bring it up to what it would be. But I have 2.
Let me do that.
So I have an average of what I accumulated to bring up what I put out 10. And then I have what I actually would in my mind put it at 10. So my average in that is different because of some of those great episodes that kind of overshadowed some of the other ones. So my average it actually came up to a 6.5 out of 10.
Okay.
But I would give it a 7 out of 10. So a 7 out of 10 season 2. I thought it was great. I think I gave season 1 a 6 out of 10.
Yeah.
So a 7 out of 10, definitely an improvement. Some of those later episodes, I mean, it was definitely like 9. So, I mean, it was really, really good. But as a whole series of some of the other elements and stuff, it really didn't start getting really good until like episode 7. So I would give it a 7 out of 10 as a
whole. I just did the math. Out of 5, the average would be about 3.3 out of 5.
Yeah.
Out of 10, I'm going to give that... honestly, Michael, I really think 7 is solid.
Yeah.
The action was cool. They had some great CGI. Obviously, seeing the character development with Tech was crazy awesome. One of the big things about the show I really wish they would have done this season is explore Crosshair more.
I agree.
We got to see him, in Tipping Point, in Outpost, in the 3rd episode, the Solitary Clone. But I really feel like they should have explored more him with the Empire and then his descent into not believe in them and trying to get out. I thought we should have seen more. I'm kind of disappointed what they did with Hunter and Wrecker. I just didn't feel like there's really anything different between them versus the first season.
I think that's what they're going to build into the next season.
Obviously, Omega was the same. Echo was cool. But obviously, the theme of just basically bridging the gap between the 3rd and the 4th movie was very predominant. And it was well done. So obviously, it's not great, better than the first one, but 7 out of 10 is solid.
Right. I completely agree.
All right, guys. If you enjoyed this episode, let us know by giving us a review and a download. Our podcast, Here's in the Moment, is available on all major podcast platforms, so check it out. Speaking of checking it out, we have a ton of episodes out right now, so go ahead and check it. We got our weekly news. We got Marvel, DC, whatever you want, we have it. If you want to stay up to date with all of our news and announcements, check out our socials. Our Instagram is Here's in the Moment, and our TikTok is Here's in the Moment with an extra T.
And we just want to thank you all for listening, and as always, we love you 3000.